You're in a high-stakes meeting with an international team. You understand the vocabulary perfectly, you track the grammar, and you follow the logic. Yet somehow you completely miss the room's unspoken panic. There is a wide gap between speaking a language and actually operating at its speed. Closing that gap requires mastering the specific idioms of time. This diagram illustrates the issue. The top path shows literal translation acting like basic data transmission. You transmit words, but miss the intent. The bottom path shows true fluency relies on cultural idioms. This shorthand signals your alignment with unspoken regional rhythms. When you operate without this temporal toolkit, you risk operating completely out of sync with the actual speed of global business. Consider the highest intensity phrase in the English Temporal Dictionary, a New York minute. This graphic breaks down what that phrase means. It is not a standard chronological unit of 60 seconds. Instead, it's a measurement of severe temporal compression. You take those 60 seconds, add extreme pressure, and absolute zero latency. It establishes a baseline expectation for the listener. When someone uses this phrase, they are telling you that the gap between a problem arising and its required resolution is virtually non-existent. This specific pressure stems from an urban benchmark. It was born out of dense, hyper-competitive environments, where speed is a basic survival mechanism. This scale visualizes the one-to-many productivity ratio. It describes the psychological reality that a high-density environment compresses several standard minutes of work into a mere 60 seconds. On the left, that dense red urban minute clearly outweighs 4 standard global minutes. Deploying this phrase signals an instant execution mentality. Use it when you need immediate crisis resolution. This dial illustrates our spectrum of time. Operating at maximum pressure indefinitely guarantees burnout, which is why professionals develop lexical flexibility. Lexical flexibility is the ability to adjust your vocabulary to match the required intensity of a situation. The phrase "in no time at all" sits right in the middle of this spectrum. It communicates a fast, fluid transition. It tells your team to react seamlessly to a sudden change, but it removes the ticking clock panic associated with a New York minute. But sometimes you need the exact opposite approach. If we look at the far right of the dial, we enter the zone of deliberate deceleration. Here, we find the phrase, "take your time." This phrase acts as a strategic mechanism used to create expansive mental space for the listener. Dropping this into a conversation actively shifts the dynamic. It replaces frantic urgency with intentional calm. Employing deliberate deceleration pulls focus away from sheer speed, placing it squarely on the quality and resilience of the creative process itself. So, how do effective communicators utilize this spectrum in their daily interactions? This synthesis arch lays out the complete toolkit. As a professional, you must actively choose your lane. On the left, you signal crisis resolution. In the middle, you ask for seamless adaptation. And on the right, you prioritize a high-quality process. Linguistic mastery requires situational awareness. It is about selecting the exact temporal idiom that accurately frames the intensity of your current reality. Mastering these cultural shorthands ensures that when you speak, you and your global team are finally moving at the exact same speed.